Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to dive into a fascinating exploration of the psychological and social causes of crime. Our presentation is titled Comprehensive Perspectives on the Psychological and Social Causes of Crime, where we'll examine various theories and influences ranging from psychoanalysis to social conditioning and even biological factors. I'm excited to take you through these complex ideas and shed light on how different perspectives help us understand criminal behavior. Let's get started. When we look at crime through the lens of psychoanalytic theory, a key idea is that unconscious conflicts from early childhood play a big role. These unresolved issues can influence behavior in ways people might not even realize. For example, emotions like aggression can be pushed deep down or repressed, and then later show up as violent or antisocial actions. These hidden drives operate below the surface of our awareness, subtly shaping why someone might commit a crime without fully intending to do so. By exploring these unconscious motivations, we gain valuable insight into why certain offenders act destructively even when they understand and know they're breaking societal rules. This perspective helps us see crime not just as a choice, but as a complex expression of deeper psychological struggles. When we look at personality traits linked to criminality, there are a few key factors to consider. First, impulsivity plays a big role. People who struggle to control their immediate reactions may act recklessly or aggressively without thinking through the consequences. This lack of self-control can easily lead to criminal acts. Next, the lack of empathy is crucial. If someone can't understand or care about how others feel, they are less likely to feel guilty or hesitate before causing harm. This absence of emotional connection lowers the usual social barriers that prevent people from hurting others. Finally, aggression is closely tied to psychopathy, which is a personality disorder marked by ongoing antisocial behavior, a lack of remorse, and manipulativeness. Individuals with these traits often display hostility that fuels violent and confrontational behavior, which is frequently seen in various criminal populations. Understanding these traits helps us grasp why certain individuals might be more prone to criminal behavior. When we look at biological and neurological influences on behavior, one important factor is genetic predispositions. Some individuals may inherit genetic traits that make them more vulnerable to antisocial tendencies. However, genes alone don't tell the whole story. Brain abnormalities, particularly in the frontal lobe, can also play a significant role. This region is crucial for impulse control, moral reasoning, and making good decisions. When it's impaired, a person may struggle with these functions, increasing the risk for problematic behaviors. But it's important to understand that biology doesn't work in isolation. These genetic and neurological factors interact closely with environmental influences, such as upbringing and social context, to shape the behaviors we observe, including those linked to criminal activity. This means biological vulnerabilities may set the stage, but how a person's environment responds can strongly influence the outcome. When we talk about cognitive deficits in criminal behavior, there are several key aspects to consider. First, faulty moral reasoning plays a big role. When someone's understanding of right and wrong is distorted, it's much harder for them to make ethical choices. Then there's underdeveloped judgment, which means they struggle with making good decisions and properly assessing risks. This can lead to impulsive or harmful actions because they don't fully grasp the potential consequences. Another important point is the rationalization of harmful actions. This is when individuals justify their behavior as a way to reduce guilt or discomfort, convincing themselves that what they're doing isn't really wrong. Altogether, these cognitive impairments impair how people interpret social cues and the effects of their actions, increasing the likelihood that they might engage in criminal behavior. Understanding these factors is crucial for addressing the root causes behind such conduct. Criminal behavior can actually be understood through the lens of conditioning, meaning that people can learn and continue these behaviors based on certain stimuli and responses. One of the key factors here is the role of rewards. When individuals receive something positive, like material benefits or approval from their peers, it reinforces the behavior and makes it more likely they will repeat it. On the other hand, the effectiveness of punishments plays a crucial role as well. If punishments are inconsistent or not strong enough, they won't effectively discourage criminal acts. The justice system, therefore, has a critical responsibility to deliver predictable and appropriate consequences. When it does, it can reduce the likelihood that crime will be repeated, but if it doesn't, crime may continue to be reinforced over time. When we talk about learning crime through social interaction, one key aspect is modeling in social learning. This means that individuals often observe and imitate the behaviors of influential peers or family members around them. If someone sees certain actions being rewarded or accepted, they're more likely to copy those behaviors. Another important point is the reinforcement of criminal behavior. Engaging in delinquent acts can bring social acceptance or even status within certain groups, which encourages continued participation in such activities. This positive reinforcement makes the behavior more ingrained over time. Finally, gangs and peer groups play a significant role. They often act as environments where criminal norms and techniques are shared and learned. Through ongoing interaction within these groups, individuals adopt behaviors that align with the group's values, perpetuating this cycle of crime. This social context is crucial for understanding how criminal behaviors develop and persist. When people face intense stress from societal expectations, it can lead to feelings of frustration and pressure. This stress often comes from the struggle to meet standards imposed by society, and when individuals feel they can't keep up, it can sometimes push them toward criminal behavior. A key part of this is psychological strain. When someone fails to achieve important goals, like financial success or social status, they experience a kind of emotional tension. This strain can be so overwhelming that crime becomes a way to cope, either to relieve those negative feelings or to access things they otherwise can't obtain. It's important to understand how broader socioeconomic conditions play into this. Social inequality doesn't just affect material circumstances, it also has a deep psychological impact that can increase the likelihood of criminal activity. This perspective helps us see crime not just as a personal failing, but as a response to larger social pressures and inequalities.